Good afternoon. I'm Eric Deaton. I'm running for the U.S. Senate in the state of Ohio, and I'm here to talk to you about states' rights. The many states of our United States each have their own written constitutions and applicable state laws. All these documents provide for strong state governments, for the most part capable of functioning autonomously. Article 10 of the U.S. Constitution clearly states that power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. It certainly appears to most reasonable citizens that the powers not delegated to the federal government have been usurped from the states and the people. This is not only unnecessary in light of the well-written state constitutions, but also an illegal overstepping by the federal government's enumerated powers. One of the major contributing factors to this overreaching federal government was the approval of the 17th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which clearly states the Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, elected by the people thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. The difference here is that prior to this amendment, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution said the Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state chosen by the legislature thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. This means the senators were meant to protect their prospective states' rights and were to answer to their state's legislative branch. With the 17th Amendment, the will of the people began to elect senators democratically, thus changing who they answered to. With both legislative branches of our federal government now elected by the people democratically, we've seen the rise of socialism as citizens learned they could vote themselves from the public treasury. In addition to that, neither house is no longer responsible for their states. Legislative branches are ultimately charged with protecting their states' rights. As a U.S. Senator, our fight to uphold the U.S. Constitution is interpreted through its plainly written language. This includes the return of powers to the states or to the people from all powers not delegated to the federal government. In addition to upholding my oath of office, I will introduce an amendment to repeal the 17th Amendment in order to return the appointment of U.S. Senators to the respective states' legislators. This once again will make them accountable to their states directly and force them to fight for their states' rights from the top down. It is up to us citizens to vote for good legislators to begin the process of fighting for our states' rights from the bottom up. Let me reiterate what has really happened. We have a Supreme Court and federal courts. That represents our federal government. But each state also has state courts. We have an executive branch in Washington that represents our federal government with the president and a full cabinet of members that oversee many branches of our national government. But we also have 50 state governors and their corresponding state government branches. Yet when it comes to our federal legislature, both houses are elected democratically by the people. The people vote for themselves from the public trust. And by doing so, we have no representation of the states themselves remaining. This is not how it was meant to be by our founding fathers, and we need to correct this issue before it carries on any farther and further erodes our sovereign rights as states and our rights as U.S. citizens.